my economics chit chat session today. I'm going to talk about a very interesting topic that's about the gain of Indian rupee. In the last few months, you have been seeing that rupee has been steadily decreasing, and there was a big shocker effect that happened the post-COVID. And that was considered to be a big hit. Why? Because of the pandemic reasons, fall in exports, fall in production, and so many factors. But after that, you should have seen that the rupee has been making a very steady progress and it has been constantly appreciating against the dollar. And this is a very important factor. Why? Because if you see that in the current scenario, because of the huge inflow of the dollars, that is the foreign exchange reserves coming inside, RBI has taken that money and converted it or has pumped it in terms of rupee and started pumping it back into the economy. So now what is happening is RBI is taking in that foreign currency, converting it into Indian rupees and injecting it back into the system so that we are able to move forward without any further cash crunch. Now this is a very good philosophy, or this is a very good methodology which I would like to say. Why? Because slowly rupee is trying to become more and more competitive altogether. So that is why now what's going to happen is that the concept of exports are going to get even more challenging and even more interesting. Now RBI's job is to see that they maintain the rupee at a very competitive sphere altogether and do not allow rupee to completely exceed up in such a way that dollar gets completely low down. The other side of the scenario why rupee is appreciating is that the dollar has been falling down significantly due to the COVID impact, and the lot of manufacturing operations across US have got terribly hit. So now what is happening is that the manufacturing hub or the situation in India is improving with the Atmanirbhar plan coming into picture. And that is why it is very important for us to see that rupee will slowly start appreciating and start moving up altogether. Now the other factor that we need to keep in mind is that we also need to understand the philosophy that going forward we need to reduce on imports and we need to start concentrating on exports. Today morning, when we were looking into the news, there has been a very good push altogether, or a very good incentive that has been given to the defense sector. Almost projects worth of 4 lakh crores are going to be given to Indian companies in order to manufacture the defense equipments or the weapons altogether. So now what is going to happen here is that on the contrary, in the place of import, it is going to be exports. We are going to export and we are going to start becoming the manufacturing hub of defense. This will definitely help India to start increasing their foreign exchange reserve, and this will also start helping them to ease on the tension on the rupee factor altogether. The other side that we also need to see is that the crude value has significantly come down. So India does not have to spend too much of dollars in terms of buying the crude. So the import factors of the crude coming down and the price coming down altogether has also helped India to strengthen the rupee in the long run. So it is very important for all of us to understand here that the crude factor, the defense factor, and the production sides have all been on the advantageous side for India. This is the right time India needs to pick up the manufacturing and start producing as far as possible. In the last few months, we have been also seeing or also witnessing a very big change in India is that the healthcare sector. Now India has also been one among the forerunners in terms of producing the vaccine, and being a very favorable situation for India. If India could start developing better vaccines, automatically, even in the healthcare sector, we could become a leader in production and in exports. So this will also help India to earn a large amount of foreign exchange and probably build a more stronger liquidity base altogether. So for the RBI, now the times are quite challenging, and for the RBI, the most important factor that is coming into mind, or that is coming into their ideology altogether, is to keep rupee under a constant pressure zone. They don't want to loosen out the rupee. They don't want the rupee to climb up as fast as possible and overtake the dollar. They want rupee to maintain under constant pressure, under a severe competitive rate, so that the imports will get reduced and the exports will also start going up. At some point of time, we need to understand that India is not going to go back in terms of exports. India is going to now start building a better and even more effective manufacturing hub. And in the coming years, you're also going to see that apart from the defense sector, the textile sector, we are also going to see in the infrastructure, and we are also going to see in the dairy and agriculture sector, India is going to get a heavy push. It's going to start manufacturing and start exporting to a higher level altogether. With our recent incentives that are being given by the Prime Minister to our farmers, that is also a very wonderful step taken by our Prime Minister, because he wants to push the agriculture sector. He wants to give them a constant increment in terms of production, in terms of making them stronger. So even agriculture sector is going to start seeing a sunrise again, and there would be a huge amount of production and huge amount of thrust that is going to come there. And when we come back to the markets and the rupee stability altogether, in the foreign exchange hemisphere, India has been one among the global spots, the global hotspots in terms of recovery and rebounding at a very great speed. And if you start comparing US, you start comparing against the UK or the Japan or Germany, some of the advanced economies in the world, India has been very, very successful in bringing back its currency at a greater leap altogether. Now, if you look at every country after the COVID-19, they have been giving huge stimulus into the economy because they just want to rebuild it. They want to give aid to every single sector. And India also followed the same kind of activity. But the only good sign which I would like to talk, or I would like to reinstate again here, is that India's recovery has been significantly higher when compared to any other country. So now what is going to happen is that most of the foreign companies, most of the MNCs are going to look India as a strategic partner, are going to look into India as a manufacturing hub, and they are going to give India the opportunity of developing software, technology, defense, or any kind of projects altogether. So probably what we would expect, or what we can start seeing, is that a quick rebound coming in the month of October, plus a lot of jobs are going to open up and the environment is going to be back in green altogether. So all this good news coming inside. Hope to see India again as the strong and most emerging nation in South Asia as well as in the world. So the real words of saying "Achhe din aa gaye hain." Again, we have to believe on this factor. The good days are back, and good days are coming in a very, very strong manner. With this, I would like to conclude my today's talk on economics chit chat. I hope and believe that my session was interesting and there was something useful for you to share and to learn. Please do subscribe to my channel. Please do feel free to give your opinions and ideas, and let us try to learn together. Thank you and goodbye.